Covering the story of former President Nelson Mandela's passing is Mande, who works in Tanzania. So good morning, welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good, how are you? How did Tanzanians receive the story?
As soon as we got the news that Tata Mandela has died, the country was in a very somber mood. Everyone was saddened because you cannot speak about Nelson Mandela without mentioning Tanzania, because Tanzania has been a training ground for those who were fighting for freedom of South Africa. It has been there, a lot of people, and they have been reading in the history. So in Tanzania, it's also very sad.
I mean, what is the biggest challenge of covering a story of this magnitude for a foreign journalist?
It is a challenge because as soon as we heard the news, all the airlines coming to South Africa was full. So that is why some of us managed to go to Nairobi, then to Johannesburg, so that you can get the real story and report about Nelson Mandela to the Tanzanian people.
When did you arrive, and what some of the biggest stories that you've covered and sent home?
I came here on Sunday because as soon as we heard the news, the management of my company actually sent me on the first plane to Johannesburg to report about the Nelson Mandela, because there is a connection between Tanzania and South Africa due to the background of apartheid, training, and freedom fighting.
I mean, you were involved in the publication of Africa After Apartheid. What was that, and how was it received?
It is sad. It is sad, and right now in Tanzania and in East Africa, when you don't run a story, a front page story about the death of Nelson Mandela, that means nobody will read your newspaper or nobody will listen to your radio or television.
And how are Tanzanians, in fact, reacting to the news? We've spoken about how, the relationship between South Africa and Tanzania goes way back, even during apartheid.
Yeah, as far as I understand right now, the Tanzanian people are very sad because, we used to have those training grounds like the Solomon Maharangu training grounds, the Nelson Mandela, and the first conference of creating the MK, Mkoto Wesizwe, was held in Tanzania, was held in Morogoro, where there was a big training ground for South Africans to fight against the apartheid in South Africa.
And, is this what you expected when you were told you have to go to South Africa, you have to cover the Nelson Mandela passing? Is the magnitude of what's been going on, was something you expected?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people are expecting a lot of things. As far as, actually I called home this morning, and many newspapers are running special edition for the commemoration of the death of Nelson Mandela. And in the next 2 days, we'll be going to Kunu for the burial of Mzee Mandela, who has been a friend of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. And we also provided a lot of infrastructure, a lot of assistance to South Africans. Now it's a time to pay a tribute to Mzee Nelson Mandela, who is the icon of not only of South Africa, but for the Africa.
How do you think he'd like to be remembered?
Actually, it's now the young generation has to remember Nelson Mandela, has to read his books and see the wisdom, inspiration, and what Mzee Mandela has done to South Africa and what he has done to Africa. Because when I came here, I went to Soweto to see the military boots which Mzee Mandela left in Arusha in Tanzania when he was coming here, and he was caught and jailed. And so we have a story to tell to the Tanzanians that Mzee Mandela has now died, and we have to see his body being put on the grave so that the Tanzanian people can understand what is going on about Mzee Mandela.
Okay, Mike Mande, thank you so much for talking to us. He's a Tanzanian journalist talking to us about, being a foreign journalist and covering a story of this magnitude. As you can see on your screens, there's South Africans have already come out in their numbers to view the body of Tata Mandela at the Union buildings. There are special requests. Remember, they have asked you to